Honestly, after the show, I was depressed.
Really?
I didn't get out of bed for like 2 days.
Just the overwhelming.
I even was like gonna send back the Venmo, be like, please don't air my episode.
If you haven't seen the YouTube channel Financial Audit with Caleb Hammer, you need to go check it out. I'll put a link in the description. He has a no-nonsense approach to dealing with debt, and he has some of the most interesting guests out there.
Honestly, after the show, I was depressed.
Really?
I didn't get out of bed for like 2 days.
Just the overwhelming.
I even was like gonna send back the Venmo, be like, please don't air my episode.
Really?
Yes, I was like beside myself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was really freaking out.
What after the show made you just put so much fire under it?
The episode came out and I had my friends watch it. I was like, tell me, am I getting lit up in the comments? And they were like, actually, no, a lot of the people were really positive. And I kind of was like, well, if all these internet strangers see potential in me, then I can't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that.
But overall, he seems to make a major impact on the guests that he has. As you can see in that first clip, she made some changes to chip away at her debt. Now let's get into some of the crazy ones.
What do you do for a living?
I am a tattoo artist.
Things are currently making sense. Yep.
Yeah.
That checks. You didn't tattoo the pedo stash on you, did you?
No, that's natural.
That one's all natural. Okay.
That's all me.
Okay. How much money you making on the tattoo life?
Anywhere from $1,200 to $2,500 currently.
$1,200 a month? I don't know how anyone live in Austin or really anywhere on that. What do you do in the $1,200 months? This is not a cheap town.
I don't do anything when I don't make money. I sit at home.
You can drop some McFries for, I think it's $16 an hour in Austin. McFries, dropping them into oil. Then my fat ass is coming through the drive-thru.
Yeah, dude, but I gotta work with a bunch of idiots if I go to that place.
Well, you'll be right at home.
Now this is a typical guest he has on. Lost, irresponsible. $1,200 won't cut it in most places. Where I'm from, that barely covers food.
Why do you have so much debt at 20, dude?
Yeah.
What have you done?
$26,000 is on my car. The rest of it is all credit cards. The biggest chunk of it all really started whenever I was out of a job for about 2 months. I was putting all of the rent, all of the food, everything on just credit cards. I had a decent job. My roommate had a kind of shaky job, and then he didn't have a job. For the first few months, he was getting money from like his parents or family or whatever, trying to make his part, but that's not sustainable. So, I had to start picking up his half. There was a 2-month period where neither of us had a job, so.
And how was that conversation with the roommate when you were taking on all the bills?
We had the same conversation of me just being like, you gotta figure out a way, and then there was no way being figured out. So
Did you get fired?
Yes. So I was trying to quit. I wanted to quit, but I didn't want to just like leave them because they were short staffed. We had stuff coming up. So I was like, okay, I'll quit in a month or two or something like that. But then like after a couple weeks, they said that my head wasn't in it anymore. So they just quit.
What was the
and they just
job?
fired me. I was a QC at industrial piping type business. So I just like checked the orders and sent them out to the trucks and stuff.
Okay.
I would never be paying my rent with my credit card, and I definitely wouldn't be covering my roommate's half. I'd be sleeping in a car before that happens.
3,200 came in. How much did you spend?
Probably all of that.
How much did you spend? Your rent is so cheap. How much did you spend?
I know I at least spent 570 of it.
Yeah, your rent's so cheap. How much did you spend last month?
Probably more than I made.
3,600. It's simple. Again, you only had $70 on here. You only put $20 to it. Then you purchased 112. I don't get the point of that. I really don't. You could be in a world where this card is not accruing interest anymore. And it's barely accrued interest this year. It's like all of a sudden you're starting to rack up a thing on here. It's Dash Pass and Country Clotas and Dollar Tree. You went in and got some for $8. Gas as well, but I just don't get it. What's the Country Cloudus? What'd you say?
Country Clouds.
Clouds? Fucking clouds. Oh, good. You're a vapor too. We are creating an archetype here, people. This is incredibly clear. Every single person does the exact same thing on the show. Sells b****s. Fucking failure in life in general, financially speaking. Overspends. Has an of in clouds.
I get a deal on those though. I do.
A deal?
Yes, because I'm best friends with the guy at the vape store, and no, he's gay.
Listen, I don't know you at this point. Okay.
Addiction seems to be one of the biggest things on this show that contribute to debt. And that leads us up to the next clip. Vaping, nicotine. Now where I live, to buy a bottle of vape juice, it costs about $35 for a big 120 milliliter bottle. Now government keeps putting taxes on that, so that same bottle at a price of $35 comes out to $90 with taxes.
I had some health issues recently that has like made it to where I can't do as much content as I'd like to do.
Okay.
But I had a collapsed lung and I almost died.
Why? At 25? Jeez, for what?
I was vaping and I hit
People, stop with this. Well, we're finally starting to see consequences.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
Really? A collapsed lung?
It was 90% collapse, and I actually had to get a chest tube put in.
What are you smoking?
I now smoke cigarettes, but I was smoking.
No! What?
So,
we have a collapsed lung and we're smoking
I got permission
cigarettes?
from my pulmonologist because of the fact I can't pronounce pulmonary doctor, the person for my lungs, because I tried to quit with a nicotine patch. I actually am allergic to nicotine patches, and
maybe we just don't.
So the problem is
because we have a collapsed lung. Are we kidding?
So that's what I was given in the hospital was the nicotine patches.
Oh, great, but maybe we just don't. Go on. Sorry, go.
No, it's okay.
What are you saying?
So I had an allergic reaction to the nicotine patches. Can't use nicotine patches. My teeth are severely decayed due to a genetic issue, so I can't do
What's
nicotine
your genetic
gum.
issue?
I have a specific issue where the dentine underneath my enamel gets broken down at an extremely fast rate, and like it doesn't matter what
I did notice the top teeth have a couple things, so
it's unavoidable.
Oh, were you gonna get them just removed and replaced with fake?
That's the intention, but implants are expensive, and dental is a luxury healthcare item in this world.
But
right now,
you don't do like.
No, God, no.
Okay. Well, either way, you're still smoking.
Yeah. So,
one, bad for your teeth, and your teeth are already weaker. Two, you have a collapsed lung.
Yeah. So I was trying.
How many cigarettes do you smoke a day?
Right now, I'm at about if on a bad day, I'll hit 10. But
one, you. Two, you're killing yourself.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I do want to quit, but I will need to get a cessation aid, in like pill form or something like that, from a general practitioner, which I don't have right now.
For what?
Because the nicotine patches and the nicotine gum don't work, and I get really, really bad withdrawal symptoms where I get something called back drip, and it closes my throat up.
Oh, is there a place you can go to manage?
So it's not so much like that. It's more along the lines of back in the day before my lung collapse, when I was a teenager, because I've been smoking since I was 13, is what you have to understand. So this is like over 10 years long addiction. My babysitter at the time got me hooked onto them, but there's a pill called Chantix that at the time I wasn't given medication when my GP had prescribed it to me then. I wasn't ready to quit yet. Since my lung collapse, I'm ready to quit. I want to quit, etc. I just don't have the GP to prescribe me anything.
There's obviously nothing I can do here. You need to go see a mental health specialist. You need to go see medical specialists.
Yeah.
For you, that's what I would do.
It sounds like she has a whole lot of excuses. I'm sure I've sounded the exact same way some days. It's one of the most difficult things to quit, and that's because it's everywhere. I'm going to finish it off with the clip from Caleb Hammer and probably one of the funniest guys in the world, if not the funniest, Theo Vaughn. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.
What about Gary Vaynerchuk? Gary's always been like, oh, you got silverware in your house? Sell it right now. Sell your silverware, sell your house. Sell it.
To get out of debt?
Sell the silverware, $65. And then he'll pull up a guy who'll be standing in a park because he has nowhere to live now. He's eating soup with his hand because he has no more utensils, right? And Gary will be like, how much money you got? And the guy's like, I got $4,000 cash. He's like, you did it, buddy. And he'll hug him and then drive off in a limousine, right?
All right.
He's like, oh, your grandmother's asleep, sell her nightgown while she's resting. She don't need it.
Do you know the purpose, though? I'm so curious, because I do not know this guy.
In Vaynerchuk, his family owned a wine company growing up. No shade, but dude, if my family had a wine company growing up, I'm just saying, the Merlot don't fall far from the grape. You know what I'm saying, brother?